The Rambler Network.
When we dig up the first of history, the signal is often weak. The oldest music ever recorded for playback is nearly impossible to hear, but its significance is deafening. It's the first scratch in time, the mark that lets us find all the others that followed. But sometimes, what we think is the first isn't after all. This is the Digressor Firsts. When you think of the first recording ever made, chances are you're picturing something simple. Most people know the story, remember Mary Had a Little Lamb. And they'd be right. Sort of. It was 1877 when Thomas Edison stood before his invention, the phonograph, a cylinder wrapped in tinfoil, a needle ready to carve vibrations into history.
The first words I spoke in the original phonograph, a little piece of practical poetry. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
He spoke the words himself. Those lines became the first words ever played back. The birth of recorded sound as we know it. However, that was not the first recording. The first time sound was recorded, truly imprinted into a physical medium, actually happened nearly 20 years earlier. In 1860, a man named Edouard Léon Scott de Martinville, a Parisian typesetter and inventor, was experimenting with something he called the phonautograph, which he patented in 1857. Unlike Edison's machine, it couldn't play anything back. It was a scientific instrument, a way to see sound, not hear it. A membrane, like the human eardrum, would vibrate when sound hit it. Those vibrations moved a stylus, scratching a visual trace of the sound onto a piece of soot-covered paper or glass. For decades, no one thought of those soot traces as sound at all. They were data, a picture of noise, and the sound that made them? Silent, trapped in a line of black curves. That is, until 2008. A group of researchers at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory scanned one of those old phonographs, ran it through modern imaging software, and converted the lines back into sound waves. And when they pressed play, they didn't hear Mary Had a Little Lamb. They heard a man's voice, faint and distant, singing a French folk song from 1860. It's haunting, the oldest known recording of a human voice. Not a nursery rhyme, not a declaration of invention, just a small fragment of music sung into a trumpet of bass and smoke, never meant to be heard again. For 148 years, that song lay silent. Then a ghost began to sing. We often think of first as clean beginnings, moments that defined a new era. But sometimes the true beginning hides in the margins of history, in a laboratory, in a soot-covered scroll, and a song that no one was supposed to hear. So yes, Thomas Edison gave us the first playback, but the very first recording was made by a man who never got to hear his own voice. But I digress.
The Rambler Network.